Hi, I'm Steve Murphy, and welcome to the Insider Exclusive. Today we are featuring Southern California's premier law firm series with a law firm of Pierce & Weiss. Stay tuned. You're going to love this show. One of my first guests, a co-founder, Dave Pierce, is with us. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Steve.
You are kind of an expert in the construction field, aren't you? You do a lot of cases there, don't you?
I do.
For contractors and developers. Tell us a little bit about, if I'm a homeowner, what I should be looking for when I'm dealing with a contractor.
Is he licensed? Meaning, is he insurable?
Right.
And what type of documentation is he presenting you?
You know, I've seen on TV various shows where contractors ripped off homeowners, and usually they signed a contract and they required them to place a really large, deposit, maybe 50% of the contract. What is the law in California for all of our viewers so they know that when a contractor, they sign an agreement with them, what is the maximum they can ask for right then and there?
Well, they should not ask for more than 10% up front. And also, you shouldn't make the final 10% payment to the contractor until, if permits are required, you get the final sign-off and the homeowner has walked the site, made their final pickup list, and that has been corrected by the contractor.
Now, you represent a lot of homeowners.
Yes, I do.
And later on this show, we're going to bring some people, some of your clients, to the show that you've successfully helped so they can actually tell their story and what you did for them, okay?
Yes.
But right now, I want to go to your co-founder, Jeff Weiss, so we're going to join him right now.
Great.
And I'm pleased to present the other co-founder, Jeff Weiss.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You have a specialized practice, which is workmen's compensation, right?
That's correct.
And you represent a lot of businesses.
That is correct.
Can you tell our audience exactly, what do you do exactly when you get involved with many of these cases?
Well, first of all, I represent a large cross-section of industries and businesses in the state. And what we do is we represent the employers when an employee files a workers' comp claim.
So if you're a business executive right now that runs a company,
Right.
And you have a problem with one of your employees,
Yes.
you'd be a good person to come to, right?
I'd be the guy.
I understand you have 2 offices, one in LA, correct?
Yes, and one in Anaheim.
One in Anaheim, and more than 20 attorneys, right?
Yes.
For all business executives watching this show today, do you have 3 important recommendations for them to reduce the number of claims that they may have filed in workman's comp?
Absolutely. First is make sure that the work areas are ergonomically designed so that you can prevent injuries from taking place. Second, have a proper reporting system so that when an individual does sustain an injury, it's reported immediately, they get immediate care, and you can probably short-circuit the entire explosion of the work comp claim. They don't have to get an attorney if they see that you're handling it properly.
Yes.
Then the third is be aggressive. If you see that there's an individual that is truly taking the case and blowing it out of proportion, be aggressive and send the message that we're going to be fair to those claims that are legitimate, but those claims that are not, we're going to fight you.
One of the things that everybody always looks to is successful clients that you've represented, and we're going to have one on the show here
Yes.
in a little bit. So
Yes.
I'm going to go back to David here,
Okay.
and thank you. We'll be back shortly.
Thank you.
One of the great things about our shows is the attorneys actually bring their clients that they've had some great success with. And today, I'm pleased to have Stephen Kopoloff, right?
Hi, yes.
How are you?
Fine, thanks. And
Today
yourself?
you were okay.
I am today.
I understand you're a homeowner. You had a home in Pacific Palisades,
Yes,
correct?
that's right.
And you had a nightmare happen to you with your contractor.
Yes,
Tell
I
our
did.
audience a little bit about that.
I was doing a remodel, and part of the remodel was to make a little bigger backyard.
Yes.
So the contractor I chose, which came recommended, and I checked references, excavated a hillside behind me. And little did I know he was incompetent, had never done it before, and he ended up collapsing the hillside into my house.
So basically, you wanted your house improved, and you got it destroyed.
Yes, he basically destroyed my house.
What did you do?
Well, I terminated him, and then I tried to find a lawyer right away.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing was, I found a lawyer, very highly recommended, who had a lot of experience, and we started out with the lawsuit. And what happened is, it got a little complicated.
Right.
So the lawyer bailed on me and fired me as a client, even though I'd done nothing wrong.
How did you find Dave?
Well, I spoke to some friends of mine who were attorneys,
Mm-hmm.
and they, on my behalf, called the Bar Association, plus they called a lot of their friends, and they triangulated on David. And there was a couple folks in David's category, and I
Yes.
interviewed them, but I felt he was the best.
When he came to you,
Yeah.
Dave, with this nightmare of a story, what'd you do?
It was very complicated, as you just heard. Plus, Steve was in dire straits.
You got a judgment. You went to jury trial, right?
We did. We had to go through an entire jury trial. We picked the jury. We got the evidence in that we wanted, and we were able to keep the evidence out, which is all we can do as lawyers during the pendency of a trial.
Yes.
And it went through to verdict, and favorable for Steve.
I also
We-
understand once you got the judgment, you had to fight for the money then too.
We did. After the verdict,
There was no easy thing here, was there?
No.
no, and that's always something that
Yeah.
you know people may not be aware of. After you get a verdict, if you win, the other
Gotta
side
collect.
is going. You got to collect, and the other side's going to negotiate because they're going to say, "Hey, we're going to appeal."
Yes. Thank you for being
My
honest.
pleasure.
And someday we'll run into each other again.
Hopefully not under construction.
No, believe me, we won't.
That's true. Thanks a lot, Steve.
One of the other big areas that this firm practices in is workers' compensation. And today we have the expert in the field, Jeff, with us.
Correct.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
And you brought with us one of your clients, and you just don't have one problem. You've got tons of problems, don't
Several
you?
problems,
And I'm
yes.
glad you showed up. So tell us about your problems.
Well, there are problems with workers' compensation, especially on the severity of the claims.
What were some of those claims?
Well, some of the claims which are very difficult are the back claims, for
Mhm.
example, because back claims are very subjective. And to mitigate the cost of those claims, it's very difficult.
You've got a lot of lawyers out there who are contingency lawyers.
Correct.
Who are taking, let's say, frivolous lawsuit claims, filing them against the company. How do you handle that?
These lawyers seek to have their opponent just get rid of it for nuisance value.
Write a
And
check.
that's how they'll make their money in volume. When they see someone like me or my firm on the case, they know right away they're going to have to earn their fee. It's going to be fought because I'm not going to give in on a nonsense case.
There's a lot of lawyers out there,
Yes.
you know, that handle this type of practice.
Yes.
How did you find Jeff's firm?
Well, I think you found us first.
Okay.
Because I think I came to our office, and I met him 10 years ago. That was the first time I've met him. And I think we hit it off right away. And
Yes.
he knew what I wanted, and
Mhm.
I thought he was the type of attorney that I would want to deal with, because we want to aggressively seek settlement in these cases.
Sure.
Don't want to pay these things off.
Well, I want to thank you very much for being on the show, taking your time to come here, because you represent, you know, a major company, and you have selected Jeff to handle a lot of your claims, and he's done real well for you, and I think our audience will identify with that. So thank you for joining
Thank you.
us, and I
Thank you for
appreciate you
having me.
coming here. We've been fortunate to have some of your clients come in here and tell how great lawyers you are, you know, and I see right now, if I had a problem with my home in a construction dispute, I'd definitely call you, because some of the things you've done. Same thing with workers' compensation. I read in your bios, I think your bio, you were selected by your peers as a super lawyer for the last couple of years.
Yes.
Right. It's the top 5%
Yes.
in Southern California.
So you've heard it from the clients, you've heard it from the lawyers, and I want to thank you very much for being on the show. It's been a real pleasure, and I look forward to doing other shows.
Thank you,
Thanks
Thank you.
for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for being with us, and you can catch more of these shows at www.insiderexclusive.com. We'll see you next time.